It's interesting in a lot of Asian cities, as density grows, as the population grows, the goal of trying to change mode share in any one of these cities comes against a lot of obstacles, especially when we're looking at mode share shift towards pedestrianization and cycling. And those, I think, are the two areas that have the most amount of obstacles in terms of actually putting in physical space that allows for that network to be interconnected, that allows for pedestrians to connect from home to where they may take public transit or private transit, from those destinations that they're going to their office or to the end place of their travel and their destination. So it's that part in terms of the actual amount of dedication to right-of-ways, to areas where pedestrians and cyclists can easily and conveniently get around the city. And that's probably the one area in terms of real obstacles, is making it easy and convenient. It's that ease and convenient which will then allow people to take that as an alternative mode of transportation. Often people will always default as human beings to the easiest way of doing anything. And so if that is your way in which you get from your home to your office, or from your office to places that you might play, evening activities, to theater, opera, however that is developed within your community in terms of how you move around your space, that you'll always choose the easiest and most convenient way. So one of the biggest obstacles was getting over things that are disconnected to connect the overall network so it's easy and convenient to get around the city. Well, with making it easy and convenient to get around, urban mobility is really about how you relate to all of the real estate within the community, how you connect the infrastructure from one place to the next. And I think that's where there's a lot of work to be done, especially in places that have very good public transit, but might not have that last kilometer connected. And that last kilometer is both at the beginning of the trip as well as at the end of the trip. So in order to do that, I think there's a lot of things that could be physically modified within our urban environment to allow for better connectivity that, especially in a tropical climate, is weather protected, both to make the experience cooling as well as to protect it from tropical rains that happen. So in order to actually connect then from one place to the next, a lot of that is about the actual right-of-ways that we use to get from place to place, providing the adequate space for that right-of-way, whether or not those are pedestrian connections or cycling connections, and allowing those then to be connected as both our rail and our road systems are, and actually allocating enough space to that. So that overcomes some of the physical barriers in terms of physical connection between one place and another. The other components to getting over those obstacles is really then the support facilities that you need, especially in a tropical environment where the heat might get to somebody in terms of sweating, either walking or cycling. So that when you do get to your destination, if you're using this as a mode for commuting, for example, that you have the support facilities around you to make it convenient to go to your next activity. So if that's work, for example, that you have a shower, that might be part of the Green Building Code that mandates showers to service so many people within that office environment. Or it may be the other facilities such as laundry, parking, that you can then come, you can change, you can have your clothes cleaned for you, and then when you're ready to leave, then you can commute home. So it's both the physical aspects of getting from point A to point B, and then it's the ancillary facilities that help to support going to your next activity. I think it's very interesting because both Singapore and Kuala Lumpur have experienced a tremendous amount of urban growth over the last 10 to 15 years. Both cities have densified a lot, and this, especially within the urban core areas of Kuala Lumpur and Singapore. And with that densification comes a lot of challenges related to urban mobility. And I think the amount of mode share between public transit and private automobile use is very different between the two cities. So that some of the outcomes in terms of the process that both cities are going through to create more public transportation, as well as to create a more conducive environment for cycling and walkability, are a little bit different. And with it, I think both cities have a lot to learn from each other in terms of the work that's already being done. Singapore has done a fantastic job of the central urban core and connecting it in terms of walkability. That's both walkability at the street level as well as connecting underground spaces, especially where land use has allowed for some of the retail to come in around those pedestrian connections. So you're not going through large areas without a lot of activity and a lot of people and vibrance. The other thing that Singapore's done is connected at the second grade and the second level between buildings. So you're able to get across roads and you're able to connect from conditioned space to conditioned space, which makes it more easy and convenient for people then to connect to either bus or public rail transport within the center core. Some of the things that Kuala Lumpur are doing is similar with the pedestrianized network, where they've created an overall integrated network of connections that mainly happen at the second level that then again connect to public transit, either bus hubs or to rail stations. Interwoven into that then is the connectivity to a lot of the major destinations within the city center. And the city, through Dato' Bandar, is raising a lot of awareness around this, and awareness with the general public in terms of some of the alternative modes of transport that you could take, and you could do it in a very convenient way. And that is one of the things they've introduced with Car Free KL, which is a program that happens once a month. It's usually, it's Sunday mornings. It happens the first Sunday of every month. And through this program, the mayor closes several of the main roads in downtown KL, and they do a fairly large loop that's about 3 kilometers long that they allow anyone to come down that will walk, cycle, push a scooter, skateboard, rollerblade, whatever mode of transportation that requires 2 legs and a heartbeat that gets you around the center part of town, that you can come down and experience Kuala Lumpur without any cars, without any service trucks, without any buses, that gives the street back to the people. And this has been incredibly successful for Kuala Lumpur in terms of just raising awareness about the ability to use the street right away for something other than vehicles. Due to the success, and they've had, now they're up to about 20,000 people that come out to do this once a month, the mayor is going to start to introduce this twice a month. And I think based on this growing idea in terms of how the road system could be used for alternative things, especially in non-peak times, that this will probably continue in terms of the frequency. The other thing that the Mayor of KL is doing is a whole transformation project around the rivers that run through the center part of the city. So there's 2 main rivers, which are the Klang and Gombak River, and there's a project called River of Life, which is really about cleaning the water quality of the river and then connecting that river back to the urban fabric of central KL. And that connection happens primarily with 10.7 kilometers of the riverfront that will then allow for pedestrians and cyclists to come through the center part of KL without crossing any of the roadways, with being able to separate then pedestrians and cyclists from vehicle traffic. This will then provide a thread that runs through the center part of KL, which will connect main tourist destinations, main employment centers with public transit, with bus hubs, as well as just the overall integration into the urban fabric. The other component to that then is upgrade of streetscapes to make streets easier to walk on and create more connectivity to the different destinations within central KL. So these are 2 fantastic programs that are currently going on in KL, which are in the process of being rolled out and have had a lot of public support for promoting cycling and walking within the city.